Now it's time for an update on local sports with Kenny Rhoda.
Kenny, lots of good things happening sports-wise at your alma mater, Baldwin Wallace.
That's basketball and football, right?
Yeah, a lot of good things really are happening. Let's start with football first, as the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets' lucky number was 7, as the Jackets led all small schools in Ohio with 7 All-American selections.
Leading the way for BW was junior inside linebacker Phil Medveds. The Columbia High graduate was a first-team football news choice as he recorded 88 tackles with 2 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 1 fumble recovery this past season for the Yellow Jackets. Medveds was also selected as his team's most valuable defensive player and won the OAC's Outstanding Linebacker Award while also making the All-OAC first team. Other BW All-Americans included punter Sean Gorman, who became the Jackets' only 3-time All-American. Senior place kicker Wade Massaud of Westlake High School was also selected. Massaud is a 2-time All-American who leaves the Ohio Athletic Conference as the all-time kick-scoring leader with 211 points. Other seniors honored were quarterback Eric Young, who led the OAC in total offense, and center Scott Wilson. Joining Medveds as junior All-Americans were inside linebacker Matt Kubinski and defensive end Doug Halbert.
With 3 defensive All-Americans and over 10 starters returning, Baldwin Wallace will again be the preseason favorite to win the Ohio Athletic Conference football title next season. Now, BW's basketball team may not win the OAC title this year, but with a 10-6 overall record and a 4-3 conference mark, things are definitely looking up for Steve Bankson and his young team. The Jackets are 7-0 at home with wins this past week over arch-rival Mount Union and defending OAC champ Ohio Northern.
Sophomore Kenny Kaminsky has been the stabilizing force for the Jackets, averaging 15 points and 7 rebounds a game. Classmates Brian Newland and Joe Rinkus have provided the outside game that had been missing the last couple of years for the Jackets. Newland is the team's second leading scorer, averaging over 14 points a contest, while Rinkus tickles the twine to the tune of 10.5 points per game. Junior point guard Wayne Bilanovic leads the team in assists, dishing it out over 5 times a game, and seniors Brad Jones and Ron Sanner have provided the leadership and experience that has made this team a contender once again in the OAC.
BW will need to be at the top of their game again this week as they take to the road for 2 OAC contests, and then they return home on Saturday, January 28th, to take on the #1 team in the country, the Wittenberg Tigers. From college basketball to the high school ranks, as we take a look at the Sun-Times top 15 boys teams in the area. The #1 team, West Geauga, at 13-0. Nobody's going to beat them until maybe the state finals. Jaker Heights is 11-1. They're the second-ranked team, followed by St. Ed's, Bay Village, and Berea. Those are the top 5. Starting the second 5, Euclid is at 12-2. Bedford, surprisingly, 10-3. Valley Forge, 8-4. Strongsville dipped this week to 9-3, and St. Joe's at 7-5. The remaining 5 teams: Solon, Chanel, Wadsworth, Lutheran East, and Brecksville. The second annual Brook Park Amateur Boxing Show will take place on Saturday, January 28th at the Brook Park Armory. The first of the 10 bouts will begin at 7:30 p.m. and the proceeds will benefit the youth sports programs in Brook Park. For more information, call 267-7045. Now it's time for our classic clip, and we had to dig deep into our files to show you that even though you may be an All-American, things don't always come up smelling like roses.
Take a look at BW's All-American punter Sean Gorman. Watch this. Boom! Down he goes. Punting isn't as easy as everyone thinks it is, and Gorman gets consoled here on the sidelines by who else? The place kicker, Wade Massaud.
Well, Kenny, I heard a siren there in the background. Was that player all right, or did they have to call him
no,
off?
he was fine. That was just some of the fans. They have the siren that when something happens like that, they just send it off. He was okay and worked out all right for him for the rest of the season.
Well, thanks, Kenny. We'll have a preview of the next newsmakers in a moment.